Number 15 is a distributive property, but it's kind of hard to see. So here's what I want you to notice. It's kind of working backwards. It's taking this x and multiplying it to that, which gives us that term. Then it's taking the b and multiplying it to that to give you that term. So therefore, it's the distributive property. I'm going to show you two of the problems that you asked for help with, and maybe you could try the other two just to try. What I like to do on these is I like to draw them out. This is interval notation, and it's saying that it's going from -4 to 0, but it's not just integers, it's rational numbers as well. So let's go ahead and draw it out. So if here's 0, I'm going to have -1, 2, 3, 4, and at -4, I'm going to have an open circle because a parentheses will graph with an open circle and a bracket will graph with a closed circle. And then it's going to 0, and 0 has a parentheses, so it's going to be everything in between. The second one, at -2, I'm going to graph right above it, but I'm going to have a closed circle, and then all the way to 5. And at 5, because I have a parentheses, I'm going to have an open circle. Now, we have this symbol in between, and that's called a union. And the union, to me, I call it an OR graph, because here's a union and here's an intersection. This I call an OR graph. This I call an AND graph, and the reason why I can tell that is if I put a little line in there, it looks like an A. So OR is one or the other, so it can be an either, and has to be the overlap. So in this case, it's an OR graph, so it's going to be from the beginning, so the furthest to the left, to the furthest to the right. So I'm going to make a new interval. It's going to go from -4, but -4 has an open parentheses, all the way to 5, and 5 also has an open parentheses, so there's my solution right there. So we're going to try something that's similar, but this time I have inequality notation. So with this inequality notation, I could change it to interval if I want, or I can leave it as is. So this first one, x is less than 1. So let's start 0. Here's 1. I should reread that x is less than or equal to 1. So I have a closed dot because it equals 1, and it's going in this direction. This one right here, x is greater than -4, so 1, 2, 3, -4. Greater than means an open circle, no line underneath, so I don't close it, and I go in this direction. This symbol right here, an intersection, looks like an A, so I call it an AND graph. It has to be in one and the other, so it's really the overlap. So where do they overlap? Well, they overlap there to there. So at -4, I have an open circle, because that's what this one is right there. And at 1, I have a closed circle, so that's what my interval is going to be. If you want inequality notation, which I don't believe it's going to ask for that, it's going to ask for interval notation. Well, it's going to be less than or equal to 1. And then just less than -4 on this side, but I would prefer it in this notation.